there and welcome to Labor Lens. I am Sharon Ijason. On this week edition of the program, we'll be focusing on the healthcare sector in Nigeria and some of the challenges that it's faced with. We also have news stories for you. We will be right back.
At major public hospitals nationwide, services have now been grounded, from clinics to laboratories and wards, as health workers under the Joint Health Sector Unions, JOHESU, shut down operations. The union says the indefinite strike, which took effect from midnight November 14th, follows the government's refusal to implement the adjusted consolidated health salary structure, despite several meetings and warnings. Across the country, federal hospitals have fully complied with industrial action, leaving thousands of patients stranded without access to essential care provided by nurses, laboratory scientists, pharmacists, and other critical health professionals. In Lagos, the situation is even more dire. Public hospitals were already operating at reduced capacity following the ongoing strike by resident doctors. And by December 2nd, health workers in the state are also expected to join the nationwide action, a development that could completely shut down medical services across government hospitals. The union insists the strike will not be suspended until the government meets its demands in writing.
A demand that the government have not acceded to, even though we have signed a series of agreements on that. Particularly last year, we signed an agreement on the 29th of October 2024, of which federal government agreed to implement that adjustment, but that has not been done. So we issue a 15-day ultimatum as provided for under the section 41 of the Trade Dispute Act, that before essential service worker can withdraw services, you must issue a 15-day notice, which we did, expecting that federal government within the window of the 15 days meet with us in order to resolve the matter. Of course, as it is now, it's a trade dispute, and we expect government to go ahead, approve this adjustment, circularize the issue a table, and then make a payment plan.
Quite unfortunate that the government had allowed this situation to slide to this level. It was only a day before the expiration of that ultimatum that government called. And while we were even called, they just wanted to say, what is the problem? Not that they had solution to it. It's just only one item that was taken to government, and the ability to resolve or to convey a meeting that will give directive or direction to that matter was not called. We were just told why we were called that, okay, we are going to tell the agency that's involved to call a meeting. So having said that, the only singular request we have before the government, which has spanned about 11 and a half years, almost 12 years now, is the issue of adjustment of CONHE's salary, as was done for its counterpart called COMES in 2009. Okay, the two salary structures came to bear in 2009. COMES is meant for physicians, and it was tinkered around, adjusted in 2014, 2017, and 2022, if I'm not mistaken. But the one of CONHES, which is meant for other healthcare professionals, had not been adjusted. And the CBA that brought both of them to bear says whatever it's done to this other one should be done to the other. So what we are asking for now is parity. We are not asking for equality. We are only asking for equity. The solution or panacea to this ongoing strike is for government to call the Presidential Committee on Salaries to hold their meeting and approve the said amount that had been calculated and gazetted and sent to by Salaries and Wages to that committee. The amount is a meager amount that could be sorted for or sought out for by the government, and the government will direct the Salaries and Wages to prepare the circular and the table that will be commensurate with that demand. And we will now go back to our members and present what we have from the government. The expanded NEC will be called, and if the members are satisfied with what the government has offered, then that is the process by which the suspension of the strike will be called for by the members.
The Nigeria Social Insurance Trust Fund (NSITF) is giving new hope to Nigerian workers who have been injured or disabled on the job. At its mainland office in Lagos, the fund has empowered 19 more beneficiaries under its vocational rehabilitation program, providing them with skills and tools to regain independence.
I'm one of the beneficiaries of Back to Work that was organized around July this year by Nigeria Social Insurance Trust Fund, in which we were advised and encouraged that the situation we find ourselves is not the end of the road. And in the process, I picked the data analysis, and today I'm one of the beneficiaries. Also provide the material needed, HP laptop for me, so that I can at least build on this. They not only give me fish, but I was taught how to fish by myself. And once the source of income is not a challenge to you, then you have more hope. And with this that they have done, I'm so happy for the opportunity, and we give kudos to them. And there is hope rising for Nigeria and for individuals who are physically or somehow challenged.
The program is part of the Employees Compensation Scheme and is guided by the Employees Compensation Act of 2010. It involves 3 key stages: reorientation, vocational training, and empowerment with startup tools. NSITF's General Manager for Claims and Compensation, Nkiru Ede-Ogunaike, says the initiative is about restoring dignity and independence to workers who have been sidelined by workplace injuries.
Phase 1 was the requirements gathering. Phase 2 is the retooling and retraining of the beneficiaries back to being productive in the society. Will help Nigeria at large, will contribute to the economy of Nigeria and even our GDP. And then we'll have less people on the street reliant on their families or loved ones, but they can be self-sustainable. My advice to the beneficiaries is to take full advantage of this process, the tools that we have given them, the training that we have given them. We advise that they would remain productive in the society, support their family, support their friends, support their children, support themselves.
This is a one in a lifetime opportunity that they are getting. They should make good use of it. They should put themselves into it and also believe in themselves, and also have the courage to actually start over again and apply what they've learned into their daily lives, and also ultimately earn for it and become upstanding citizens of the society. My advice to the people who have not joined this program and are qualified to be there, I would say sign up. Don't give up on yourself. The disability is not the end of everything. You can actually be retrained, you can be equipped, you can be helped, you can be mentored, and you'll be able to earn for yourself even despite your disability.
The program has benefited 57 Nigerians across selected zones, and the NSITF plans to expand it nationwide, giving more workers a chance to rebuild their lives. At a media briefing in Lagos, the Food, Beverage and Tobacco Senior Staff Association of Nigeria (FOBTOB) raised strong concerns over the Senate's order directing NAFDAC to implement a ban on sachet alcohol and small volume PET and glass bottles. The union says the decision contradicts earlier resolutions of the House of Representatives, which had suspended the ban and asked NAFDAC to engage stakeholders and develop a national alcohol policy. FOBTOB insists that the policy, validated just last month, proposes regulation and enforcement, not an outright ban. The union warns that the economic consequences could be severe, with investments worth nearly 2 trillion naira at risk, and more than 500,000 direct employees potentially losing their jobs, along with about 5 million others in the value chain. FOBTOB is accusing the Senate of taking a one-sided position, saying research had already disproved claims that sachet alcohol is widely consumed by minors. The union is urging the Senate to rescind its directive and instead call a public hearing that would allow all affected stakeholders, manufacturers, regulators, and labor to be heard.
The risk of having to invest and lose my investment will always be there, both within and outside. And so most of the time, we will encourage the government to come up with consistent policies, not policies that you come up today, tomorrow you are taking another decision, the following day you are taking another decision. So if you have consistent policies, people will have confidence in the economy and to invest. Every child is your child. Don't make it look like because it's not my child. So even if a child comes to buy from you, you should be responsible enough to say, I will not sell to you. And not just send him back, seize the money. So that the adults who sent him or her will, will have to appear, and then you cannot be able to maybe educate such a one. It is not about foreigners. These are indigenous Nigerian companies. And if they've done this one and have given employment to so many Nigerians directly and indirectly, and this ban that has now come is not lifted, it is going to affect many.
The Medical and Health Workers Union of Nigeria held a day of tribute in honor of the late Comrade Ali Chiroma, who passed away on April 2nd, 2024, at the age of 91.
Solidarity forever. Solidarity, solidarity forever. Solidarity.
Comrade Ali Chiroma, OON MNI, was a renowned Nigerian trade unionist. He was elected Deputy President of the Medical and Health Workers Union of Nigeria in 1978 and later became President of the Nigerian Labour Congress NLC from 1984 to 1988. His tenure coincided with a turbulent political era marked by the military takeover of December 1983. Chiroma's leadership was cut short in 1988 when the military government dissolved the NLC during the regime of General Ibrahim Babangida. He later served as sole administrator of Nupeng.
Leadership means sacrifice, and I want to begin with the sacrifice Alhaji Ali Chiroma made in order to make NLC today what it is today.
Where words fail me to describe the great Iroko we are celebrating today, permit me to recline on the words of Peter Green Ingersoll, who said, "A great man is a torch in the darkness, a beacon in superstition's night, an inspiration and a prophecy." Even those profound words did not very little justice to the grand legacy and virtues left behind by Baba Ali Chiroma. At the very foundation of the Medical and Health Workers Union of Nigeria is blazoned the name of Comrade Ali Chiroma. This is a statement of fact and history. At the Kaduna Conference Center, the Medical and Health Workers Union of Nigeria elected its first national leadership. Comrade Ali Chiroma was elected the deputy president of our great union. He served under Comrade Aaron Akimbola, the first president of the Medical and Health Workers Union of Nigeria.
During his time as NLC president, Ali Chiroma stood firmly against anti-worker policies. He opposed proposed changes to the Minimum Wage Act, which sought to raise the threshold for businesses bound by the act from 50 employees to 500 employees. He also rejected the IMF loan conditions, protested the removal of fuel subsidy, and criticized several elements of the structural adjustment program introduced by the government.
At the age of 17, he was actually the national president of the Rural Health Workers Union of Nigeria. In 1960, he became the president. And all of us remember that during the restructuring of trade unions in 1978, through Decree 22 of 1978, 17 health unions were collapsed together to form the Medical and Health Workers Union of Nigeria, where he became the deputy president. It was also mentioned that he was the first Nigerian to be appointed the principal of the School of Health Technology from 1977 to 1982. After he left, they had to go and find somebody from Egypt, Dr. Nabil, to come and take over because of the standard he has put in place. That is the kind of person he was. It's recorded that no Nigerian was found worthy. It was an Egyptian, Dr. Nabil, that was brought in to take over from him.
We gathered today under the banner of solidarity, but also under the shadow of memory, the memory of a giant who walked among us, a soldier of the working class, whose boots may have quieted, but whose revolutionary echoes resound through the hills and in the heart of our struggle in Nigeria and throughout Africa. Comrade Ali Chiroma was not merely a leader, he was an organic intellectual of the proletarian struggle, forged in the furnace of shop floor unionism within this very union, the Medical and Health Workers Union of Nigeria. From this primary constituency of health workers, the lifeblood of our nation's well-being, he rose to lead the center. His journey exemplifies the very principle we hold dear, that true leadership is rooted in the trenches, born from the collective will of the rank and file.
In December 1987, Chiroma and other NLC leaders were detained as the military government intensified pressure on the Congress to withdraw its opposition to the SAP.
Really thankful to the Medical and Health Workers Union, that's his constituency, and the NLC for this grand honor. So we have all been, as I said earlier, groomed, regimented into strictness, organization, prudence, and due diligence, which is a shoe that is too large to fit, really. And I wouldn't say we have done it with flying colors, but alhamdulillah, I think we live in this imperfect world and we try.
My opinion about labor has been changed completely. I can see the unity, solidarity of purpose. The song you are singing, solidarity, is completely 100% true. All these labor leaders we have been hearing about are here.
The Day of Tribute celebrated a man remembered not only for his courage and principled leadership during difficult times, but also for his unwavering commitment to justice and the Nigerian working class. Speakers at the event reflected on the current state of the labor movement, emphasizing the need for unity, ideological clarity, and a return to the core values that defined Chiroma's era of activism and service.
On the profile interview segment this week, I'll be speaking with the president of the Medical and Health Workers Union of Nigeria. It tells me why it's expedient for the union to hold a NEC meeting at this point and also celebrate the life and times of late Ali Chiroma, who was the former president of the Nigerian Labour Congress. It's good to have you on the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
And congratulations on a successful event. You had a 2-in-1 event, a day of tribute for late Ali Chiroma, and also your NEC meeting. But first, I would like to task you on the late Ali Chiroma. Why is it of utmost importance for the Medical and Health Workers Union to celebrate the life and time of late Ali Chiroma?
Well, thank you very much, Sharon. Let me say, we all know the contributions of Ali Chiroma in labor movement in this country, because Ali Chiroma is one of the labor leaders that operates during the military regime. And fortunately, he hails from our union, the Medical and Health Workers Union of Nigeria. He was part of the first founding members of Medical and Health Workers Union of Nigeria. He served diligently in the union as Deputy National President, and it was from the Medical and Health that he rose to the position of President of the Nigerian Labour Congress. And one of our tradition is that we value our veterans. And not only in medical and health, even at the Congress level, they used to do this kind of day of tribute. So we now decided and resolved at the leadership level of medical and health that let us organize ourselves and do this day of tribute in favor of our late fallen hero who died since last year. We look at the contributions he did at the labor level, in labor movement in this country. And at the same time, we had a lot of lectures from our founding fathers, especially who work with him, so that our new generations can get lessons to learn in terms of labor movement in this country. So this is the reason why we organize this event.
What would you say was the learnings from those that worked with him? What resonates most with you?
Well, in general, I can say based on all the contributions by the founding fathers, especially Comrade Hassan Somonu, the pioneer president of the Congress, Comrade Ayuba Piwaba MNI, the current NLC president, Comrade Abdul Wahid Umar, Comrade Salisu Mohammed, who worked with him as acting general secretary. All of them showed his commitment, his trust, his passion for improvement of workers' welfare in this country. So this is very important because nowadays some of the labor leaders are coming to office without that passion. So actually these are some of the lessons learned during his tenure in office.
Moving to the National Executive Council meeting, which was held also after the Day of Tribute. During the meeting, you stated that in the last 2 decades, Nigeria has lost 60,000 nurses to outside shows. Can you tell us what does this mean for the healthcare sector in Nigeria?
Well, according to statistics, as I said during the opening session of our NEC meeting, which is one of the second highest governing body of the union, and is a statutory organ of the union, it is on record that Nigeria loses more than 60 nurses in the last 20 years. And apart from that, more than 19,000 doctors, apart from other health professionals. This shows how Nigeria is losing competent hands. And not only losing the competent hand in the health profession, but also looking at the consequences to the workforce and to the healthcare delivery in Nigeria. Because if you lose more than 30,000 or more than 80,000 workers in health sector, it means the workload is doubling or tripling to the existing health workers in the country. And at the same time, coupled with dilapidated infrastructures, lack of logistics, equipment in our hospitals, it was also compounding the ineffective service delivery in this country. So we use the opportunity to call on all the partners, especially even the 3 partners, to come together so that we can fight this issue together. Because up to this moment, we are having this issue of exiting out of the country for greener pasture.
Okay, and is there anything you think the government can do towards ensuring that there's a strategy to ensure that the healthcare facilities are not left with just few hands?
Yes, first and foremost, I think improving the welfare of the workers itself, the health professionals in the country, is very paramount. And at the same time, provision of health infrastructures is also very paramount. So it's a very good development that government should facilitate to ensure that recruitment of health workers in the country to cover that portion. And at the same time, I believe improved welfare can equally reduce the number of exodus of these professionals out of the country, so that they can equally contribute their own quota in improving the healthcare delivery and system in Nigeria.
During the NEC conference, you had a theme of discourse, which is rising together to build a sustainable health system through improved welfare, which is, you've given us some of the highlights.
Yeah.
Do you want to bring us up to speed on why you chose this particular theme of discourse?
Yeah, why we choose this theme is because of our concern on the issue of this brain drain. Because we believe that with improved welfare and especially wages and so on in our membership, obviously it will reduce this issue of brain drain, because presently it is our members that are suffering. So that is why we decided to choose this theme as the theme of 2025 NEC meeting.
To wrap this conversation up, there's this issue of public health concern from time to time. Since COVID-19, we've had series of times whereby there is a health scare. And even recently, there was this flu that was out there, even though they didn't announce, the government didn't announce it with a particular name. I'm really concerned that we might not have the requisite workforce to address growing concerns of maybe communicable diseases that we might be facing in Nigeria or maybe in Africa.
Public health is also another area of concern to us, and as I rightly said, Nigeria, we are blessed with professionals, especially in the health sector. But the issue is taking care of the welfare of the health workers. And the issue of training and retraining is also very important. So I think we are equal to the task, but the only problem is that the workers will be overstretched.
I'm talking about overstretched. In recent times, we've seen that we've had some health workers die out of exhaustion.
Yeah.
What do you think needs to be done as a matter of urgency? Do you think that there's supposed to be maybe immediate employment of those that will be finishing from school?
Yeah, exactly.
What can be done?
I think the issue of recruitment is very paramount, because people, even if not exodus from the country, there's issue of retirement. Some of the health workers are retiring because of years of service or because of age. So obviously there is the need for massive employment of health workers in the country. I could remember, I think last year, the President and Commander-in-Chief, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, through the Federal Executive Council, granted a waiver for the employment of health workers to the Federal Ministry of Health. But I think that waiver has not been properly utilized up to this moment, because if it is utilized, there should be massive recruitment of health workers across the country. So there is need for that up to this moment.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much. I appreciate.
And that's all we can take on today's edition of the program. Join us next week for a fresh edition of the show. I am Sharon Ijason. Thanks for watching, and remember that labor creates wealth.